Who knows all the countries in the world or even knows the basics about those countries? Well, I didn't know them all or the basics about them all. That's why I did some research, and after that I put up this little series to give you at least a brief overview on the most important data of their political systems. And the video today is about Togo. The official name of the country is Republic of Togo, or in the original, République Togolaise. The form of government is a presidential system with officially two chambers, the National Assembly and the Senate, though the latter has not yet been set up. The head of state at the moment is President Faure Ezotsimna Gnassingbé, and his representative in the event of a short absence is the Prime Minister. And in the case of a permanent absence or impossibility of exercising office is the President of Parliament. The Prime Minister is Selom Komi Klasu. The Foreign Minister is Robert Doucet. And I talked about the Houses of Parliament before. The National Assembly, the Assemblée Nationale, is one of those chambers with 91 members. After the end of the authoritarian military regime of Eyadema Gnassingbé in 2005, the Togolese leadership is trying to cautiously open up democracy and modernize the state, society, and economy. The current president is Eyadema's son, Faure Gnassingbé, who was confirmed in office in April 2015 for a third term of 5 years. A nationwide protest movement began in August 2017, aimed at denying President Faure a fourth term. A dialogue began with the mediation of the Economic Community of West African States, the ECOWAS, which, following a proposal by ECOWAS, led to parliamentary elections in December 2018. These elections were boycotted by the traditional opposition. Nevertheless, 59% of those eligible to vote went to the polls, and the domestic political situation has calmed down since the elections. In the meantime, there was also an amendment to the constitution in order to limit the terms of office of political functionaries to 2 mandates in the future. However, this does not apply retrospectively. Previous terms of office are not counted. The long-requested statewide local elections took place on June 30th in 2019. The next presidential elections were planned for 2020. A Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission to come to terms with a sometimes very violent past has presented comprehensive recommendations for reforming the state and society. However, these have not yet been implemented. The human rights situation has improved since 2005, particularly in the area of freedom of expression, freedom of the press, and freedom of assembly. Nevertheless, there are still considerable deficits. Above all, a deficit in the judiciary and high level of corruption, as well as the weak position of women, despite legal improvements, and poor prison conditions and de facto limited political participation rights in rural areas remain problematic. On the positive side, human rights defenders and organizations like Amnesty International can work in the country and can work with the government. On October 31st in 2016, Togo submitted to the Universal State Review procedure of the United Nations Human Rights Council. In its statement, Germany, for example, recommended in particular a functioning birth registration, improvement of prison conditions, strengthening of the independence of the judiciary, and protection of freedom of expression, assembly, and association. Togo has accepted a large part of the international recommendations. Exceptions include recommendations for the ratification of the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court, the abolition of the criminal liability of homosexual acts, and the revision of criminal provisions against the publication of false information. And I'll see you in my next video. Bis gleich.